It is Tuesday morning, 7 a.m., and you are standing in the aisle of a grocery store looking for water. Usually this aisle is a wall of clear plastic bottles, shimmering under the fluorescent lights like a blue glacier. But today, the shelves are bare metal, except for a few heavy, expensive glass bottles of sparkling water on the top shelf. You reach for a gallon of milk, but the plastic jug is gone, replaced by nothing, because the dairy delivery didn't arrive. This is not a recycling initiative. This is the zero polymer scenario, a sudden global halt to all plastic manufacturing. In this simulation, we explore what happens when the material that defines the modern age simply vanishes from the supply chain. To understand the scale, you have to realize that we don't live in the Iron Age or the Bronze Age anymore. We live in the plastic age. We produce 380 million tons of it every year, and 40% of it is single-use packaging. Let's enter this collapse through the eyes of Dr. Marcus, the chief of surgery at a Level 1 trauma center in Seattle. He is scrubbing in for an emergency surgery on a car accident victim who is bleeding internally. He calls for a blood transfusion, expecting the nurse to hand him a flexible, sterile plastic bag of O-negative blood. But the nurse freezes. The blood bank is empty because modern blood storage relies entirely on PVC bags. Without plastic bags, blood has to be stored in glass bottles, a technology we abandoned in the 1950s because it damages the cells. There are no glass bottles available. The blood supply has effectively expired overnight, and the patient on the table dies. This is the first shock of the plastic-free world, the immediate and catastrophic collapse of sterile medicine. Dr. Marcus looks around the operating room and realizes that almost everything he touches is made of single-use polymer. The IV tubing that delivers medicine? Plastic. The syringe barrels? Plastic. The catheters? Plastic. The sterile gloves? Latex or nitrile? Synthetic rubber. He realizes that without these cheap, disposable barriers, he cannot perform surgery without infecting the patient. By day 3, the crisis spills out of the hospitals and into the kitchens of every home in America. You open your refrigerator to make a sandwich, but the deli meat you bought 2 days ago is already grey and sliming. Without plastic shrink wrap, saran wrap, oxygen attacks food instantly, accelerating spoilage by 1,000%. The cold chain that brings fresh berries from Chile or beef from Texas relies on vacuum-sealed plastic to keep bacteria out. Grocery stores begin to smell like rotting biological matter as tons of meat, cheese, and produce spoil in the open air. Managers try to wrap meat in butcher paper, but the juices leak through, creating a cross-contamination nightmare. You go to buy a toothbrush because yours is old. The aisle is empty. Modern toothbrushes are 100% plastic. You have to use a chewing stick or a rag with salt, reverting to dental hygiene practices from the 1800s. By day 7, the packaging famine hits the pharmaceutical industry, cutting off the supply of daily pills. Your blood pressure medication comes in a plastic bottle with a child-proof plastic cap. The factories have the medicine powder, but they have nothing to put it in. They cannot ship loose powder in cardboard boxes. Pharmacies turn customers away, not because they lack the drug, but because they lack the blister pack to keep it dry. Dr. Marcus is now reusing syringes, boiling them in glass jars to sterilize them, a practice that was banned decades ago. The needles become dull after one use, making every injection a painful, tearing procedure for the patient. The infection rate in the hospital skyrockets to 50% as sepsis becomes the leading cause of death, beating the original injuries. We realized that plastic wasn't just about convenience. It was a miraculous shield against the microbial world. By day 14, the weight crisis hits the logistics network, grinding the transportation sector to a halt. Plastic is light. Glass and metal are heavy. Replacing plastic bottles with glass adds millions of tons to the freight load. A truck that used to carry 20,000 plastic bottles of soda can now only carry 5,000 glass ones due to weight limits. Fuel consumption triples. The price of every liquid, from water to shampoo to cooking oil, quadruples instantly. You try to buy shampoo. It comes in a glass jar now. You drop it in the shower, it shatters. You realize that safety in the bathroom was a luxury provided by unbreakable plastic bottles. By month 1, the electronics sector begins to fail because plastic is the world's primary electrical insulator. The wires in your wall are coated in PVC. The circuit boards in your phone are made of epoxy resin. Without new plastic insulation, we cannot repair the grid, we cannot build new phones, and we cannot fix computers. The digital age is fundamentally built on a foundation of oil-based polymers. Without them, the screens go dark. Dr. Marcus watches as the hospital's MRI machine breaks down. The cooling pipes inside are made of specialized polymer. There are no replacement parts. The most advanced diagnostic tool in history becomes a useless magnetic donut. By month 3, the sanitation crisis returns, similar to the sewage stop, but this time it is about trash bags. We take for granted the black plastic bag that holds our garbage and keeps the smell and leaking fluids inside. Without plastic bags, people throw loose trash into metal cans, which attract flies, rats, and raccoons instantly. The streets become covered in a leachate slime, a toxic juice from rotting garbage that cannot be contained. Diapers. This is the nightmare for every parent. Disposable diapers are 90% plastic and super-absorbent polymers. Parents have to switch to cloth diapers, but they don't have enough cloth, and washing them requires massive amounts of water. Dysentery spreads through daycares and schools as the hygiene barrier of the disposable diaper disappears. Mothers are forced to stay home to manage the endless cycle of washing dirty rags, removing them from the workforce. By month 6, the auto industry collapses because modern cars are 50% plastic by volume to save weight. Dashboards, bumpers, fuel tanks, and even engine parts are made of high-strength composites. You get into a minor fender bender. In the old days, the plastic bumper would bounce back. Now cars are made of heavy steel again, or they aren't made at all. Fuel efficiency drops to 10 miles per gallon. Dr. Marcus is tired. He is performing amputations instead of repairing limbs because he cannot trust the infection control. A simple compound fracture, which used to be fixable with pins and a plastic cast, now means losing the leg. We have regressed to Civil War-era medicine, fast, brutal, and focused on saving the life at the cost of the limb. The life expectancy of a type 1 diabetic drops to months as insulin pens and tubing are no longer available. By year 1, the world has physically changed texture. It is harder, heavier, and louder. The silence of rubber and plastic wheels is replaced by the clatter of metal and wood. We drink from tin cups. We eat from ceramic plates. We wrap our food in beeswax cloth or leaves. The throwaway culture is dead forever. If you have a container, you guard it with your life. The oceans begin to clear up. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch stops growing and starts to break down. Microplastics in the food chain begin to decline, potentially improving long-term human fertility and hormonal health. But the immediate human cost is staggering. The population drops as the weak and dependent die off. We traded the health of the planet for the health of the individual, and now the bill has come due. Dr. Marcus walks through the empty, sterile supply room, looking at the empty shelves where the plastic miracles used to be. He picks up a single, old plastic syringe he saved, looking at it like a relic from a lost civilization. He realizes that plastic was solidified oil, a dense form of energy that we treated like garbage. We used a material that lasts for 500 years to drink water for 5 minutes, and that hubris was our downfall. The new world is more sustainable, yes, but it is also much more dangerous, dirty, and painful. We learned that we cannot simply banish a material that is woven into the DNA of our infrastructure. So look around your room right now. Count the things made of plastic, the keys on your keyboard, the case of your phone, the fibers in your carpet, the elastic in your underwear, the insulation on the wires. Imagine if they all turned to dust right now. Would you be naked? Would you be in the dark? Would you be able to drink water without walking to a river? The world without plastic is not a green utopia. It is a grind of survival against friction, bacteria, and rot. Are you ready to go back to a world where nothing is disposable and everything is heavy? Tell me in the comments. Could you survive a week without using a single piece of plastic? I'll see you in the comments, sharpening my glass needle.